Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. We have got a jam-packed show, so let's get right to it. First up on the list, the Nissan Leaf was in the news. Actually, a little bit of battery issues with this car. At least, well, that's what's going to happen with every EV automobile that comes down the pike. Batteries that are charged over and over again, exposed to the elements in hot, cold weather, tend to have a little bit of deals of breaking down a tad bit. Well, Nissan's given a deal to all their customers that own Leafs that as battery technology's improved a little bit, and if the vehicle will swap properly, that you can get a brand new battery for your automobile and get it at a reduced price, and you can make payments on it. Now, no real word on how long these payments were going to take, but $100 a month is what they're talking about. Now, hopefully that isn't for like 100 years, but probably won't be. But pretty interesting nonetheless when it comes to the battery for the Nissan Leaf. $100 a month, that's not too shabby to get a brand new Leaf battery. Next up on the list, Tesla's also in the news about battery technology. Now, a couple, 3 years ago, there was a company that came out with this type of setup where it was like a service station. You pulled into this station. They had a setup underneath their mini batteries, fit mini EVs. Hopefully they were going to all, in theory, be all commonized by then. But the vehicle would actually pull out the battery and then insert the new battery into the vehicle, and it could do it in record time. Well, Elon Musk put on a big show talking about this deal. Claims that he actually invented that technology. Now, whether that's true or not, Lord only knows. But did put on a little bit of a display where they could change the battery in the Tesla Model S in less than 90 seconds. Now, they're claiming that this is going to happen in all the fast charge stations, which they're just now calling Tesla stations. You can go in there and actually charge the battery on their supercharger kits, or you can swap the battery out. They're claiming it's going to be free, and right now it's in only select markets, obviously. But with this new infrastructure program that Tesla's putting together, they're claiming 98% of the United States will be covered by this particular program, which could make an EV actual viable choice when it comes to buying an automobile. Next up on the list, the return of the Mach1. Got to thank one of the other guys here at Motor Cars Enthusiasts who actually linked me up to this particular deal. The Mach1 supposedly will be making a triumphant return to the brand new body style 2015 Ford Mustang. Now, this also includes the Mach1 that actually came later, which actually the guy at Motor Cars here actually had one of these at one time. I actually got a little seat time in that particular car as well. Didn't do a very good job of driving it, now that I remember. But apparently the Mach 1 name will be come back alongside the Cobra. And remember when we talked about the Shelby name would be gone? Apparently it is only Shelby GT500 because there's talks or there's rumors floating about on a lot of the forums that the Mustang GT350 will be making its triumphant return to the Mustang market. Now, we did see this particular automobile, one of the last ones that Carroll Shelby actually laid his hands on as he developed a exclusive lineup of GT350s that came about a couple of years ago before his passing. But apparently Ford is actually going to have this. Now, I've heard actual rumors about this deal being a stripped down model. Maybe I'm thinking what they're saying about being stripped down model because the GT350 was actually a homologation car back in the day to run in the Trans Am series. What do I mean about homologation? It meant that the sanctioning body, i.e. Trans Am at the time, wanted them to build X amount of these automobiles to actually be able to race them. Well, the trick is that homologation rule's long since gone. Haven't had that since, good night, I think the mid-90s. I think in some rallying was the last time homologation rules were in effect. So the GT350, somewhat maybe stripped down, maybe meaning it's going to be super lightweight with all the frills taken away. Maybe a little bit more like the Z28 is for the Camaro. We'll wait and see what comes of this thing in the future, but pretty exciting. Apparently, it's going to have a pretty hefty punch. The original GT350 had a smaller engine, again, to keep with the rules if Trans Am racing. Next up on the list, the gorgeous Viper GTS-R from SRT. Now, the GTS-R, if you watched anything from the 24 Hours of Le Mans, this is sort of what they were racing over there in Le Mans. Obviously, this is maybe a little bit more of a scaled back version. You get the big V10, tons of carbon fiber, a sequential gearbox that actually paddle shifted. If you don't know what a sequential gearbox is, basically you use the clutch pedal for stopping the automobile. Obviously you use the brakes, but using the clutch pedal to allow the engine to continue running, and you use the clutch pedal to get the vehicle in motion. But once you click back on the right paddle, I'm assuming, for an upshift, you don't have to use the clutch at all. It seamlessly clicks up into the next gear. Now, how much does this sucker, do you suppose, cost? I was a little bit surprised that you can get a brand new GTS-R from SRT for just a touch under $460,000. I actually think that's a pretty good deal, even though you can't drive this on the street, but still, pretty good deal nonetheless. Next up on the list, McLaren's in the news. We're hearing a little bit of in 2013, they did a little bit of a bump up in horsepower of 25 extra horsepower. Well, with the new McLaren P1 making over 700 horsepower, a lot of rumors floating about that the MP4-12C will get a bump up in horsepower well for the 2014 model year. A lot of rumors floating around somewhere around 670 brake horsepower out of the twin turbocharged V8 engine. Not confirmed yet, but obviously more power is better, right? Obviously, I could kill myself quite easily with the 613. I don't need the 672, but the gorgeous McLaren MP4-12C maybe getting a little bit more boost coming soon. And speaking of more boost, the Jaguar FType is in the news. There's rumors floating about that this particular vehicle is going to get an RS Coupe version. Jag's already supposedly working on this. This thing's going to have something around 700 brake horsepower, which is a massive amount of power for the little F-Type. But can't wait to see if this is real. Obviously, we're dealing with a lot of rumor stuff floating around as the summer month is a little bit slow for a lot of news in and around the industry. One news particle that's kind of interesting to me is we've seen this thing actually floating about quite a bit here lately being tested. What looks like a convertible new style Porsche. Well, if you really look closely, at least with the part that I got circled, I don't know if this will show up very well on this particular broadcast, but this thing looks an awful lot like it's got a Targa top. We haven't seen a Porsche Targa in years, and I actually think it was probably one of the ugliest Porsches ever built. But supposedly, this is kind of official, kind of not. So, not really for 100% sure, but with the amount of photos, if you just Google or Yahoo this particular 2014 Porsche Targa, you get an absolute gully washer of pictures that show off quite possibly this thing is a real Targa. They tried to cover it up using up some decals and some fake convertible topping. So we'll wait and see if this actually becomes official, if Porsche will be bringing out the Targa again. And last up on the list, Top Gear makes its triumphant return. The boys from the UK, the original Top Gear series. Well, actually, the night of this program is actually debuting on BBC Two in the UK. I meant to do this story the past several weeks and just forgot all about it. But the boys will be coming back to the BBC America here in the United States, and that will be taking place July 8th of 2013. So we got to wait a couple of weeks after the UK gets to see it. And it's going to be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on BBC America. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this week's Motor Cars Enthusiasts. If you want to jump on over to the Facebook page, the link's down in the show notes, so take you right over there. Also, if you want to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.